Surah Zumur verse 3. Surah Zumur verse 3, Allah says that if you were to ask them, why are you worshipping these beings? They say, مَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ إِلَّا لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفَى. We're only worshipping these beings so that they can bring us closer to Allah. Notice, the ultimate goal is Allah. These beings are stepping stones, they're intermediaries. They're simply tools we use to get to the grand deity, and that is Allah. Surah Yunus verse 18, Allah says they worship besides Allah these beings that are useless. And they say, these beings are our intercessors between us and Allah, our intermediaries. You see, we're too sinful, we're too unholy, and these beings are holy beings. So we go through them to get to the holiest of holy, and that is Allah. Now notice here, this is very important, because their shirk was not in rejecting Allah. It was not in saying, Allat and Al-Uzza created me. It was not in saying that Allat and Al-Uzza will resurrect me. No, they firmly believed Allah is the creator, sustainer, nourisher, everything. By name Allah, not Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Allah. Yet they're worshipping other than Allah, and they say, we're too sinful. We need to use intermediaries to get to Allah. Now this is important because unfortunately we have Muslims in our times who fall prey to the exact same mentality. Word for word, letter for letter. We're sinful people. Change Allah to Wali. Change Uzza to Sheikh. Change Manat to Pir. And you get the exact same concept. We're too sinful people. We can't worship Allah directly. He's too holy. So we have to go through the saint. Or they also have to go through the Prophet ﷺ. We worship this being. We make prayer to this being. We sacrifice to this being. We invoke the blessings of this being because this being has a high status with Allah. He will plead our case to Allah. And all of us who have family back home, we know that this is unfortunately common amongst the Muslims around the world. And this mentality is exactly the mentality of the Jahili Arabs. It is exactly the same. And this is compounded by the fact that if somebody says, how dare you compare a pir to a lat? How do you compare my sheikh to a lat? The response is, what is a lat except a pir and a sheikh? What is a lat? Do you know the origins of a lat? A lat was the main idol of Ta'if, right? We said last time, what is the main idol of Mecca? Who can remind me? Hubal. The main idol of Mecca is Hubal. And this was the original idol. Where did it come from? Who can remind me? Syria. From the Amalekites, the Amaliqa. Came from the Amaliqa. So this is the original idol that was there until the Prophet ﷺ got rid of it in the conquest of Mecca. Then the second major idol was Allat. And that was in Ta'if. These were the two main idols. Allat and Hubal. And then Manat was the third, and Uzza. So these are the main idols. Now, Allat, what is Allat? Allat was a man who used to feed to the pilgrims a type of soup. And the word for making soup in Arabic is latta yaluttu. And Allat is the one who grinds. Allat is the one who basically does the thing to make the soup. The barley, you grind it and then you make the soup out of it. It's not his name, it's his title. And this was a man who would stand on the road towards Mecca, and everybody who went there, he's a generous man. He would feed them. And so they called him Allat, the one who gives the soup, the one who feeds, the one who makes the barley for the soup, Allat. When he died, they said, let's commemorate him. He's a good man, he's a righteous man. So they built a monument, a mausoleum. And in our religion, we're not supposed to build a monument on a grave because of this reason. Exactly because of this reason. So they said, let's commemorate him, he was a good man. So they built a big structure. And what happens when you build a big structure on a grave? People come, they rub their bodies on it, they put their hands on it, they want to get blessings, and bit by bit, slowly but surely, it becomes an idol and a god that is worshipped besides Allah. So what is Allat except a holy man, a righteous person? And we already mentioned before that the most common being who is invoked on earth besides Allah is Jesus Christ. The most common being that is worshipped besides the true God is Jesus Christ. What is Jesus Christ? An evil being or a good being? He's a good being. He is one of the greatest of all prophets and messengers. You see, the slippery slope doesn't occur with evil people. I mean, how few people worship shaitan, right? The Satanists, how few are they? And yet look at how many people worship Jesus Christ, in the billions. Because it's easy to slip with a good man. You put him above his place. You take him to a status above what he deserves. And this is what our religion came to prohibit. No, you don't worship anybody including the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. You don't go through him to get to Allah, meaning you don't direct your prayers through him. You take him as a role model, and you don't take him as another god, a demigod, a semi-god. So it is important that we understand that the shirk of the Jahili Arabs was a very unique type of shirk. It is not the shirk of, let's say, the Hindus or the Buddhists or the Zoroastrians. Because these groups, they believe in another god besides Allah. They don't believe in Allah. The God of the Arabs was the God of Abraham and Ismail and Ishaq, and that is Allah. That is the God that we believe in. Their shirk was not in rejecting Him. It was in affirming Him as being too holy. We can't get to Him directly. We have to go indirectly. And it's very important that we as Muslims therefore understand what our religion is about. And that is, there are no intermediaries between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that was the point related to the last